So here we have a little hive that is constantly sending out bees. And they hop along the ground, but when they reach one of these flowers, they collect some pollen. And then when they reach the end of the path, they bring it all back to the hive, which gives us a pretty good collection rate right now, but we can increase that rate by moving some of these flowers in the way of them. And we could also plant some more flowers, but there isn't a whole lot of route here. But what we can do is start to research some cloning so we can actually split the bees' paths. And to get that, we need to plant just a few more flowers like this, and then we have it. And then there's other things that we can research to improve the automated path that the bees fly on. One of which is actually using the cloning flowers so the bees split along their path and then they can hit even more flowers. So this will really boost our pollen collection. So they reach the end over here and then we can have them go on the upper path by just going straight up. And then these bees down here will collect the pollen regardless. But we are collecting so much more by having these other paths here, which also means that we can sell the flowers beyond the cloning thing so we get a little bit of pollen back. And there we have enough from cloning so we get these twisty things that turn the bees. And then we need to make bees collide here. So we can just replace some of these flowers with the turning ones, and then the bees will turn and start to go this way. And then they should collide right there. Beautiful. So they still collect the pollen, which is a good thing. And it's extra good because it advances our research. And now we can start to research a pollen compressor, but we already have that because of our production rate being so good. Ooh, and then if we get ambrosia, then we can make some extra room. But first we need this compressor in place. So the bees fly across these outer sections here to drop off the pollen, and then we need a bee to go into the middle to collect it. So I think that's a good spot for this flower right here to do. So a bee flies across the middle and is collecting the ambrosia. Beautiful. And then when they collide over here, they're still collecting it, so that's a good thing. But there is also this that makes them return home, so we can go ahead and do that, and that way, these bees still drop off the pollen. So now we've collected ambrosia where we can put down some of these lichen things, or lichen, however you say this, but it has a radius of 10 tiles, so we can actually probably place this pretty far out here. Yeah, and it's making more dirt. Beautiful. So make sure to get this going all around so we get a lot more room to work with. Now we're really able to expand our production here, and also probably do things with these bees down here because there's a lot of emptiness that they're not even using. But either way, we should, we have this redirector thing, so we have more tiles of terrain, or that was a unlock requirement, but then bees bouncing. That sounds fun. We need a single bee to hold 2 ambrosia. So let's see, instead of you stopping there, we're gonna place down some of these things to twist you around. So you're flying south now, and then we just keep you rotating like this, and then when you return to the middle, I can't place it there. Okay, but we can place down one of these things, which I should be able to turn, a whole bunch of directions. So we can actually have you go here and then rotate up like that to be at an angle. That's very nice. They still collide, but are they collecting it? I'm not sure they're actually collecting it there. So we just send a bee going like that, and then we'll cut this turning thing, so there should be, bee holding 2. That did it. And now we're working our way towards getting these rain lilies. We are really making our way up the ladder here. But I also don't like how this is set up, so I'm probably gonna change that in the future. And let's see, can we delete these lichen things now that they're done turning dirt? They can be deleted. Good. That lets us get the ambrosia back. Very nice. So what we need to do is produce 50 ambrosia per minute. And we're kind of on our way there, but we can also speed this up by, instead of this being a turning thing, we'll make this a cloning thing, so we have 2 paths that the bees can go on. Right across here, because there's extra pollen being dropped. Good, now there's ambrosia being made and collected right away. I like this. We could honestly place a few of these in a line, I think, so that can be even more ambrosia being made because all the bees are flying across here until they collide over there. So we might have to space this out a little bit more by just 1, and also probably having them turn on this tile so they can actually fly across here. And all of them are producing ambrosia. Beautiful. So the bees up here are collecting 3 ambrosia every time they pass through. That's looking very nice. I mean, might as well here, give them some more pollen to work with. But that's also stopping what's happening up here. Well, either way, we have the ambrosia per minute that we need by a lot. So we have water lilies now that produce nectar. Very cool. Ooh, signals? Stop before continuing. Okay, I'm thinking we can move these 2 over slightly. So the bees will still be there. And then they'll stop here so they don't interfere with this production line, and then we can still get ambrosia being collected. There we go. And then because we need to just, keep bouncing bees on these buttercup things, we'll just place a few of them on the ones that are on the out so they can, really fly. It launches them 5 tiles, it said. So it's good that they can do that and not be interrupted on each other. And then this way as well. That's looking very nice. And then let's see, if we select all of these, then we should be able to copy all that and then flip it around like this. But then we have extra ambrosia being made. We just gotta clean up this a little bit here by not having those cloning things. And then they'll make their way down. Yeah, so we're making even more ambrosia. Oh, I love this. And just keep bouncing more bees. So we actually bounce the bees very quickly. We already have the stop sign. So they wait before continuing. Is that nectar? We need 1,000 nectar for one of those. Oh boy. So we should definitely be putting in some of the nectar things so the bees can collect that, which we might as well do right here because it seems like the bees drop off the pollen that they're carrying when they carry the ambrosia next. So we should be able to do that here for the water lilies. Yeah, so they drop off the pollen and then they're carrying nectar. Very cool. And then we have a few things that we can research here. So if we get 1,000 nectar a minute, then we get a wax comb. That should be nice. And then we can also go ahead and keep expanding the dirt area that we're using. So we should be able to set up a few things of production. So right now we have nectar collecting at 300 a minute. That's pretty good, but we can also place down some more. So they're collecting nectar all the way to the end of the line. But now producing ambrosia by cloning. I'm not too sure what that means, but it involves cloning. So we have to place down one of these. And that seems to be doing it. Beautiful. And then I have no idea where those bees are going. They're kind of just going up there and then colliding. So here, we'll just have them stop before they do that. So that should be collecting at a pretty good pace. And then we're up to 600 per minute on the nectar. And we do have 1,000, so we can put down a stop sign if we want to. Not too sure where to do that yet though. But I wonder, instead of a stopping point here, if we put down a stop sign, then they wait a beat and then they go on. Oh yes, and they're crossing without colliding. Oh, that's way better. So I can actually give nectar or pollen over here too. Beautiful. And it looks like the rate has topped out around 700, so we'll need a few more flowers over here, but we can also put some down over here. Although not very easily because we don't have more dirt over here. We can fix that. So we just get a good amount of dirt going right there, and then we can get more water lilies over here for even more nectar collecting. Hey, and we have the cloning thing done. So bees clone twice. Ooh. So how does one of those work? Let's replace this one to see. It takes 100 ambrosia to do that though. Wow. But we do that and then, oh, so they're going diagonal now. That's fun. That means we can put down even more systems. And then are they actually gonna collide up here? I think they are. Or, oh, they collide with the far side. That is, honestly, it's really cool to zoom out and see all these resources moving like they do. Beautiful. Hey, and we have the ambrosia rate. Or also stopping with strawberries. There was that too. So we do this, and then we have that, and then we have even more things that we can research, which involves producing raw wax and dropping things into daffodils. Okay, but here we have a wax comb, ambrosia and nectar into raw wax. Well, we do have plenty of ambrosia being made, but how do we introduce the nectar into the system? I'm thinking we can have a few of the combs again like this, and then they're lined up with the out so they can actually collect it. And then there's another one there that they can deposit to, and same here. But now we need to bring the bees down and around with all the nectar that they're carrying. So when they get to the end of this, we can have them turn, but it looks like we also can't place anything in water. And I don't know if we can actually convert water. It doesn't look like we can. That's okay though, because a couple more of these turning things and they're going over there. Oh, wrong way. This way. So they're gonna make their way over here, and then I want them to split again. So they can kind of carry along the same path. But I think we also need to move this so the bees are just continuously moving along the out inputs without needing to worry too much about it even further. But now they're colliding here. So at what point should they split? Probably back here somewhere, so they don't collide with that. So they can go back one more? I think that should do it. So they're going along like that, and then they're colliding, so they need a stop sign. Probably back here, to be honest. So I go ahead and do that, and then they should be spaced out enough where they're not colliding. And that is working, yes! And it's working on this system too. Oh, I love that. And then one of these redirector roses can go point you up like so, and you should be spaced out enough still. Yes! Oh, I love it when they're not colliding. And then the nectar gets dropped in, and now we're producing wax. Beautiful. Okay, now you can go ahead and cut across here to drop off the nectar there, and it's dropping off the nectar there, and we're collecting wax. Yes! Probably not the most efficient thing, but it's working. And then they are colliding up there, which is whatever. But there's raw wax. We can create some hotels now, which the bees stop, yielding double resources. Ooh. And it takes 10 wax to do that, so do they... I don't think they drop it off, but they just double it. So we could set this up where the wax things are collecting. Oh, but they don't go in a diagonal. At least it can work here. So we get one of those going here, and then it seems to be... Okay, it is collecting, but they do stop there. And we are doubling our resource income. Good. So the question is, do they have to actually like enter the side of it, or can they just go in it? I think they can just go in it. That makes this easy. So we can actually have all the bees meet up right here in the hotel for doubling all the resources, and then they should stop colliding. At least those do. We can move this right over here so they stop doing that. Yes, more doubling of resources. I love this. Ooh, and a dirt pencil. That can help turn any unnecessary water into dirt. Ooh, and concentrated sugar. We are getting very close to the end here. Producing honeycombs, which is here, and producing syrup. So to make the syrup thingy, we need to produce 100 raw, wow, that is hard to say, raw wax with the bee hotel. Well, we are on the way there, so I don't think we need to worry about that. But let's see, I know we can increase production up there, so let's get some more dirt tiles going, which is also helping us complete that objective. So we should honestly just paint a lot of these around if I had the thing selected, but there we go, just converting all the tiles into this. And that's really as far as we can expand because the demo only lets us go so far. Either way, this should, oh yeah, fill up the number very quickly. So now we have a dirt pencil, which takes wax to do. Wow. Well, we can still let those things go like they do, and also remove a couple of these pre-existing ones that are not growing anymore, just to get all the resources back. Okay, now we need to produce wax by cloning, which these bees are not collecting enough to do that. I also wonder why not every single bee is collecting wax all the time. It might just be production time. That must be what it is. Ooh, but we do have the nectar bubbler good to go. Crafting nectar into syrup. So this looks to be the same as the pollen compressor, but it's just a little oddly shaped, and we can only place it on water. So that should actually work over here. They get to the end of this line, drop off the nectar, but not all of it. And then we just split the system going 180, so the bee will collect the syrup there. And then these bees need to go and actually, you know, resume the path that they were doing. And, you know, also go the correct direction. But now I don't even know what these bees are doing over here. They're messing up the system. So stop here and collect everything. Actually, we should probably put down some hotels to double it. There we go. Now, this objective I totally forgot about. Depositing items into daffodils. That's these things, so the bees deposit all the items. So these bees over here aren't doing anything, so we can just set a daffodil there, and then they're actually depositing it all. I'm talking too fast. But that objective should fill up pretty quickly then, which is good because I think there was a bit more of the tree here that we need. Yeah, this prerequisite, but the mega cloning here into all diagonal directions. Wow. I didn't realize that we had this already too. Producing 100 syrup, so we have the honey compactor, which needs syrup, raw wax, and pollen. Okay, so that'll be a bit to figure out, but I want to figure out this cloning thing too. I think if we had a bee going vertical through all these center pieces here, then we should be collecting enough wax to clone and then produce that way, which I think involves reorienting all these pieces because we can't have the pollen bees or the ambrosia bees going through the middle like we do. And that also involves not having any diagonal bees. So I think we need more room in the middle here for me to figure this out. And might as well just close all the gaps that we have otherwise. So the ambrosia bees marching across the middle, we have them go like this. So then they're dropping off and not hitting anything. Okay, and neither are these bees. And then these diagonal bees are a little tricky to figure out. Unless I just move this one slightly or maybe two slightly. So they're still able to drop off their goods and move on. That makes it easy. And then we should be able to do the same thing up here by moving it slightly. Okay, so all the bees are still able to drop off their goods. That's what I like to see. And now I need a bee that can navigate through all of this nonsense, which the bees lining up like they do, that might be a little difficult. Unless we bring in one of these bouncy things because they bounce 5 tiles. So we need to count 5 tiles back, flies off of this, and it should land here. And then is actually 5 spaced out from this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it is. Ooh, I like the looks of this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one it isn't. But we can put the flower there and then move this slightly again. But that removes the nectar line from the path. So if we get it facing like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should hit. So now we need a bee to go this path. So you guys aren't doing anything. Go test this out. Okay, so we have bees going through here, and then they bounce. And then they land, and then they bounce, and then they land, and then they bounce, and yes, they're landing on the things. Oh, beautiful. That is a wonderful crossing system right there. Whoever said you shouldn't cross the streams? We're doing it. And then produced by cloning. So let's see, these things still only produce or drop one resource. So really, we should be able to do this, and then yes! Yes, we're producing raw wax by cloning. Oh, that is amazing. And it's going up by 3 each time we do it. That's beautiful. And then they can also go ahead and deposit some of these things as well, because there's no reason they should really be going out like they are. And then these filter flaxes are interesting. They go home if they're not holding anything. So that can also just be right there, but that's a bit more convoluted than just by having the U-turned ulixes. Now I'm just making up flower names. Well, either way, that looks cool, so I'm gonna keep it that way. Plus, we are gonna need a cloning thing down here anyway, I think, to produce the final resource, which is this Proto Garden, by making a bunch of honeycombs. But we can also wait for the mega cloning to do that, and I think I understand what it means now by producing by cloning. Since the cloning things drop 1 resource, as long as we have more than 2, then we're getting positive income from the cloning by literally just fabricating it out of thin air, because we're awesome that way. And speaking of awesome, it would be awesome if the rest of these tiles were complete. Maybe not because the game has a nighttime cycle, but also because we have more room to work with. And also just because all these blank tiles are an eyesore. I also think this dirt tile being only 1 thing doesn't expand for, okay, so it is only 1 tile, but we're also producing a lot of wax every second, so we can just do this manually until we can't afford it. And then, you know, the rest of these gotta be the normal tiles, or the normal way we do it, which I think is the better way in my opinion. But now we have the mega cloning unlocked, a quad Casnelia to all diagonal directions. So now we should be able to use all of that to start producing honeycombs somewhere. So let's see, there's 1 branch that's pollen, 1 that's wax, and then 1 that's nectar. Or syrup, I mean. So the syrup is over this way? Yeah, it's over here. So we need you to not go over here, but we can also paint this so we can have them turn here and here, and, you know, just be done with all that. So they need to turn down here, and then also stop so they don't collide with anything. And is this a good spot to do it? It might be, but it also might not be. We're gonna do it anyway. And then let's see, pollen, we can actually produce down here by having more turning flowers on these bees after they're depositing everything that they have with those. So then when they turn up here, they'll be collecting pollen on the way. That helps. We might be able to have a very contained system right here, to be honest. But we also need to get wax over here. So those guys down there, which I wish I could filter by what resource they were carrying, but I don't think I can do that. And then we're also gonna put a stopping flower here so they don't collide with each other so we can keep the system going. But how do I introduce this quad here? I could probably do that over here because there are still bees that produce 2, or they collect 2 of the wax. And the bees sometimes also interrupt each other, which is a little strange. But either way, we can replace this cloning flower here with this one. So now we have wax sending out in all directions there. And some of it is going to the hotel, which is nice. But then those... Okay, they're not colliding there. I don't know where they're going, to be honest. They're colliding up there, which is an issue. So here, Hotel U. At least until we can get the wax lined up to go that way. To go right across there. And then we can honestly have them just immediately go north to collect the honeycomb that we're making. So that should work. Unless they're not lined up at all. Whoops. That's looking better. And then we don't need this one. So now we need a stopping thing here, so they don't collide with that production line. And then they're dropping off the wax there, or some of them do, depending on if those bees ever roll through. And oh, they're stopping on this flower, so they're picking up pollen instead. That's an issue. Easily solved though. So now we're dropping off wax, and then we should be making honeycomb in a little bit. I'm not sure how much is needed, but there it is. That was a honeycomb. Yes, immediately sent back to base. Although we can also just get even more honeycomb by seeing where we can send them to be, you know, safely multiplied. Probably this way, and then down this way, so they hopefully don't collide, and thankfully they don't. So now we can just multiply them a whole bunch with these quads, and then see where they go and hotel them. Oh, but wait, they also drop 1 resource. So the honeycomb actually isn't being duplicated because we need more than that. Oh, that's an issue. I do like the idea down there though, so can we set up another one of these? I think we can. There are other honeycombs going in different directions, so let's adjust this path down here to do that. It's just too bad that the pollen and the nectar, or not nectar, the hard wax things don't line up, because that would be very helpful since we have both of them going this way. Well, either way we can do this. And these bees up there can go ahead and come down this way with another stop because they're also gonna collide there, I can tell. So they're dropping off both things down this way. I think I like this better. So then what we need is, instead of them branching out right here, we need them to go that direction so that the double honeycomb bees can go that way and then multiply a whole bunch of times, which they are on the way there, but are they gonna collide? I'm worried about the timing of these things. So they do collide there. One stop sign goes there, and then do they collide in the middle? And sure enough, they do. So another stop sign goes here, and then they're uninterrupted. Very nice. Which some of these bees are empty in what they're carrying. I'm not too sure why. Where do the empty bees start? Back here? Oh, it's because the bees going through the middle, so there isn't anything to collect there. Trying to see where this all starts. There's empty bees out that way. Oh, it's because of the one raw wax being dropped off here. So wait, no, that's not it. It's down here. Because it's every other bee that doesn't have more than one raw wax. Got it. That's no problem. But now we need nectar going over here, so let's see. You guys don't really do anything. We need a nectar bubbler down there, so a few rain lilies come down here, just so we can get the water tiles, which I'm surprised bees can fly over water tiles just fine, because, you know, they tend to drown if they fly over water. But we can get down one of these nectar things to line up with that, so that looks good, and then a turning thing, as soon as we replace this with dirt. So they turn, they go across the middle, and then more syrup is being made there. I might have been calling that nectar earlier. Don't worry about it. But then they go through like that. I'm not really worried about the outs there, but now we have enough honeycombs being made, except they're being picked up by pretty much everybody. So while we do have double the production right now, it's not the bees that are picking it up that I want to, because they're all intersecting right here. So to fix that, let's go ahead and rearrange these bees to go first over here, and then they're not colliding, so then they go south right here, and then they're all dropping off right here. But do they need a stop sign here anymore? I'm not sure they do, because they're also just kind of colliding there anyway. Do I need these bees going there at all? Maybe not. So let's just replace you with a stop and go back to base thing. So now, yes, we have a bee there that collected two things. But we need a stop sign so we can actually, you know, space this out better. And I'm hoping that the system is timed out where the honeycombs are only being produced by the time the honeycomb bee comes along. And it looks like it is, yes! So now we can bring in the quads, and then there's 4 honeycombs that are going out there. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. And then we need hotels, a lot of hotels. So now we're doubling it. Oh yes, this is making us collect it way faster just by impounding everybody in hotels. And that also is making our honeycomb rate go up too. That's up to 30. I kind of wish they would exit the hotel after doubling it so I could just double it even more. Oh, that'd be amazing. But I'd say this is a really productive system, except for, you know, the stuff up there. We don't worry about it because this can just be a go home thing. So now everything is looking pretty clean as far as I'm concerned. And we have done it. 100 honeycombs to win the game. That did it. We beat the demo. 48 minutes, that's pretty good. And Proto Garden also happens to be the name of the game. So if you guys want to check out this demo for yourself, then find it on Steam. I can already hear all of you saying that this is not the most optimum system, but it does everything that we want it to. So I'd say that that's a success. And if you guys want me to check out the full game when this comes out, then be sure to let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and sub to Intern. And I want to thank the channel members, including Bread, Corby Farm, Dakota, Donamoto, Devion X, Lucas, Ancient Elixir, Matthew, Hateful Harold, Peggy Sue, Droop Along, Angel, Lily Bites, The Miner Within, DeGarrity, Sands, V, Isaac, Killer Squad, Mousy Mouse, and Nicholas.